everybody. Welcome to the As You Are podcast. My name is Leslie Vanderganst. I am the founder of Enso Coaching and Consulting. And we are here with two of our amazing coaches, Kathleen and Libby.
Hey.
And our special guest today is our buddy,
Extra special.
Andrew Cannata, who is the founder and artistic director, executive artistic director of Magnolia Theatre Company in Lakeway. And is also an executive. What is your title? Bee Caves. Like I said, Lakeway. Yeah, Bee Caves. Okay, yeah. And what's your business title?
Oh, for my normal job.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have so many
Director of pre-sales, solutions architects, and customer success.
That rolls off the
I know it
tongue.
does.
Really,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
so
Really
short.
simple.
I can fit
Double-sided.
it just on one line.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, and when we kind of ventured out to do this, like Andrew is always top of mind because he's kind of juggling the world of art and business and dadhood and all of those things. And so it was a natural thing for us to say.
Plus-
We got to get Andrew on here.
It was like also a minch, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Oh,
I
there
haven't
you
been
go.
called that in years.
Yeah.
Oh,
Actually, maybe ever. But
What
Yeah.
a minch.
There it is.
I'm just
There
glad
he
to be
is.
here.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, good. We're so happy to have you. Well, the thing that's fun is that we all have known Andrew for like years.
Mhm.
I mean, upwards of almost 20, maybe.
Yes.
It's-
actual 20.
Yeah.
Actual
Actual
20.
Actual
20.
20.
Probably 20 because I
2007.
no,
Oh,
I knew you
16.
before that. No,
Fight.
No.
Fight.
because
I met you
I-
in college.
I know, but I am older than you. And
Truth.
didn't I meet you like the summer of when we did like Footloose for summer?
Oh, yeah, because I did come see that show.
A lot.
Yeah, I
You
did.
saw it a lot.
Listen, why do you think we're doing Footloose right now?
Yeah.
Oh my
I love
goodness.
Footloose.
You came
It's a
to see
great
it
show.
a lot of times because he's a big supporter of the arts.
And
And
Libby was in
And
it.
loves
It was
football.
amazing.
and that's truth. That's truth.
Yeah. Summer Stock Production, which Ginger Morris,
I
who's
know.
one
So
of our
that's why
guests.
it probably has been 20 years
It
because
has.
Summer Stock is turning 20.
Yeah.
Shout out Summer Stock Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This July.
Yeah.
And
Oh my gosh.
Woof.
Yeah.
Woof. I forgot that I had seen that so many times.
You did?
Yeah.
That's so and you guys knew each other in high school.
We
were
knew
just
each other
talking
in
about
high
that.
school. Yeah. And Andrew's heard me say this before, but like whenever I'm talking about him, I'm like, listen, he was so cool all the way back in high school. We didn't go to the same school.
Oh.
Well, to me, he was cool. Well, it was like, as someone who wasn't cool in high school.
Stop.
I know. What?
I don't believe that at all.
Surprise.
See,
but
it's obvious we didn't go to high school together, or she would know better than this.
no. What I do know is that, like, as someone who wouldn't have self-identified as being a very popular kid, when I would go and do these speech and debate tournaments, it was fun to meet other people where it was like, oh my gosh, this guy over here is so nice and he's always so friendly, and I'll say it again, cool. And so Cannata at a young age made a great impression.
I'm really glad I came here today.
Yeah.
we really talk people up.
Yeah, that's right.
He still makes a great impression, by
yeah.
the way.
Yeah.
It hasn't stopped. It's only
Which one? Which impression?
Yeah. Well,
Name names.
remember, you're an actor, so you can do
You got
all the
so many.
impressions.
They're all of them. Well, and we met each other doing Zilker, my favorite year, I think
2007.
2007. Yeah, 2007, and then 2007. So it's
Mhm.
almost like 17 years.
17 years.
And since then, I don't know, we've probably done 10 shows together,
Oh, yeah.
probably at least.
At least. Yeah.
Yep.
So silly.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Well, and so the thing that's really funny about this, so Andrew, to those of you who are not big Austin theater people, Andrew is pretty well known in the Austin
Oh, for
community,
sure.
That's
right?
true.
Like he has kind of a pretty beautiful voice and has done a ton of different roles and absolutely amazing, right?
I was just gonna be like, a stunning voice.
I mean,
A
Now I
stun-
regret
like,
coming here
One of
today.
the best singing voices out there.
That's true.
yeah.
You get to sing opposite Andrew. You're always like, oh, this
Yeah,
is
it's
good.
good.
We're all
Yeah.
going to be okay. This is good. This
I'll
is
just
good.
stop singing.
But see,
Yeah.
this is how I feel about all of you.
Get out
And
of
I-
here.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
Please
All right.
tell me more.
I'm not allowed to compliment.
I will say,
Yes, you are.
though, one of the very unique things that I remember when I went to school with Andrew was the fact that he was amazing at theater. Like, we did shows together, but then is also in my world, you kind of get to be like talented or you get to be smart. And he was both. And like by smart, I mean like really like
Yeah.
really smart.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
has like a ridiculous business mind and has really done an amazing job of marrying the two together and kind of finding the place for art and the place for, you know, using all your smarts and your business savviness.
Yeah.
And so it's just been really cool to watch you like from, you know, knowing you in college and having both those things to, you know, growing up and being a dad and a grown up. Just
which is my favorite role
yeah.
in
Uh,
the world.
that's the hardest role.
Yes, the
Yeah.
hardest role.
That's the
Yes.
one they don't teach you about in school.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so the thing that's, the thing that's kind of fun is like throughout all of the years that we've known you, we've seen you kind of dabble and like jump in and try to do a couple of like theater productions on your own. Like I remember maybe, what was it?
It was Mother of Invention Productions. Do you
Yes.
remember that? When I was
Right.
19
Oh
years
my
old.
God,
Good for
yes.
you.
Right.
Yes.
Louise.
I forgot. Wow, that yes.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a couple. So what are, talk us through like the times where you've like been, I'm going to go start my own thing. I'm going to start a theater
So
company.
Mother of Invention Productions was a partnership between 4 people. One was somebody I was with at the time, and then 2 other theater folks who I don't think are in town anymore.
Yeah.
But the idea was to bring, which a lot of people have the idea, but new works to the stage, as well as some old classics. We ended up doing 3 performances, one of which I was really proud of. It was called Portraits, where we actually had local actors write their own one-person shows. And then we repped them
Mhm.
each night. So you never knew as an audience member who was going to come and perform that night. But they were beautiful, beautiful stories that these performers told. That was Mother Invention Productions was when I realized, oh, there's a whole lot about the business side of theater I don't know. And it did not survive past our 3rd performance, which I think is pretty normal for a new company. But it did teach me a lot. It taught me a lot about the right people you need in place to partner with, the right way to approach theater. You can't just be, eyes. Kind of eyes shut to the business side of it and just be, of course, you want to be respectful to the art, but if you don't have the money to do it, you can't, no one's going to see it. So that was first. And then, I've performed all over Austin as well, but my next shot at producing was with Archangel Theater Productions. And that was in partnership with the high school I went to, St. Michael's Catholic Academy. They wanted to start what McCallum had done in the past, which was like a professional program to go alongside of their students. And we put on 2 productions before I turned it over to Ivan Klausia, who was there at the time. We put on Guys and Dolls, and we put on How to Succeed in Business. And that one actually was successful. I think that one did not continue because the school just didn't find it, something they wanted to continue doing. And then I was blessed to be able to run Zilker Theater Productions for 4 years. Blessed and pained because it was possibly the hardest 4 years.
Well,
It maybe in the theater's history, just like every theater who went through the
Well,
pandemic.
coming out of the pandemic.
Just going through the pandemic
Yeah.
and losing a show for the first time in 63 years.
wow.
And then having to move the show to a brand new location
Yeah.
the year after that. It was a hard 4 years for sure.
Well, so can you talk through in those 3 different scenarios? Like you just talked a little bit about some of the stuff that you learned. Like what were let's talk through some of those when you talk about being in partnership with the right people.
Yeah. So understanding that it is of course very important to have truly passionate artistic people alongside of you who know the artistic side. I'm the executive artistic director, but I have no fantasy that I lack a lot of knowledge that people who went to school for either directing or producing or performing have that I just don't because I went to school for computer science. So partnering with them and then also people who understand that decisions have to be made in collaboration with the executive side of the house, that Yes, of course we would love to have an actual motorcycle drive across the stage during one of our performances, but that costs $3,000 and we're not going to do it because we don't have the money, right?
Cardboard
And so
cutout it
cardboard
is.
cutout.
Get yourself
So
a bike.
let's use some creativity
Yes.
to figure out another solution that is not driven by money, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would say that's what I learned from Mother of Invention. What I learned from Archangel was that there's a lot of there are a lot of students who don't get the opportunity as early on in high school outside of Impact Arts, right? Formerly known as Summer Stock Austin, right? Bringing it all together. But there are still, even outside of that, there are so many more people in high school who do not get the opportunity to see what it takes to put on a professional production. And that is why in the new company, Magnolia Musical Theatre, we are creating partnerships with universities and with high schools to bring people in and do internship programs for them to give them an opportunity to work on a professional show.
That's really cool.
With Zilker, it taught me how to go after sponsors
I'm sure.
all day,
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
And it also taught me that I think something, the community should understand about asking for money for the arts is, one, the right place to ask for them, and two, that if you don't ask, the answer is the same as it is right now. Not asking, the answer is no.
Yeah.
The worst they can say is no. So you might as well ask the question, right?
Right.
Do you want to sponsor this? Or if you're going in to purchase a suitcase like I just did at Goodwill today, talk about the program, and they ended up giving me a little bit of a discount on that, right?
Yeah.
So it's all just about having the courage to communicate and ask for things when you're building something like this.
I think the thing, that happens a lot of times in the arts community, when the arts community is trying to like build something or build a business, essentially, is that there's this concept of, I'm going to spend my time, doing the kind of art that I want, right? Or like the thing that I'm really passionate about. And the reality, exactly what you're saying is that you're spending majority of your time not.
Correct.
Majority of your time is running the business. It's doing all of these other like ancillary things.
It's not the glamorous side.
It's not glamorous at all. It's a lot of hard work and it's a lot of hustle. And I think that's the thing that sometimes when you're dreaming big about putting on some production, that you don't realize, or you don't recognize how much work goes behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Or just the business plan. I mean, I think we've seen so many people that are like, I want to do this one show. I'm going to form a company. We're going to do this show. And they have not thought past the
one thing.
one show.
That's right.
And so they put on the one show and then
They kind of fizzle away.
Yeah.
And I'd say from a Mother of Invention Productions, that was exactly what happened.
Yeah.
We were going show by show by show and not planning for the future.
Yeah.
And it's just not a sustainable way to build any company. A theater company is still a company.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you have to think of it that way.
Absolutely.
As much as the art is very important and cultivating, a new space for performers and designers and, painters and carpenters, again, if you don't have the money to do it, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
It makes me think too, because like I can project right now and be like, oh my God, asking for money though, I feel so uncomfortable. And you mentioned the word courage, right? That courage to go out and ask your community for money, to reach out to sponsors. What was your journey like going from not asking to then building up that courage?
It helped a lot that I had to do it, that I had the opportunity to do it with Zilker, because they actually have been around for 65 years and they had a base of sponsors that, were already accustomed to supporting something like this. So that helped a lot. But if you're doing it with somebody new or you're doing it for the first time, it's really just about understanding just sales in general. I've worked in sales my entire career. That is what I do. I lead sales engineering teams. I'm part of the early on sales process for a number of software companies. You're going to get told no a lot. Just like auditioning. You're going to get told no, right? For job, interviewing for jobs, you're going to get told no. You will be told no a lot.
Just
But-
like building a coaching company.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But when you are told yes for the first time, there's something about just like auditioning, putting yourself out there that is so incredible that it drives you to keep going. And then you find those sponsors who will be long term, that truly care about your mission and truly care about what it's bringing to the community, and that will sustain you through, going after the ones that might be one off for a year.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think it's just about not being afraid to be told no.
Mhm.
Because again, until you ask, the answer's already no. You're not going to get the money
Yeah.
if you don't ask.
And I think that's something too big that all of us coach on a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, I can think of just in my business of people negotiating their salary and not wanting to ask for more. And it's become such a weird, talking about money to some people is very awkward and it's a strange conversation. And so getting in and being like, I promise you this first offer, there's more. The worst that's going to happen is they're going to say no. And you'll say, okay. And you gave it a good try and you're going to move on. And, I think getting people to get past that,
That's right.
yeah,
Mhm.
it's hard, but it's
Yeah.
once you do it, I think you do get that confidence and you're like, okay, once you've been told no,
Yeah.
you're good to go.
Yeah.
So then when you made the decision to start, obviously you had a little bit of a relationship with the city of BK because of the
Little shop in
yeah,
2021.
Zilker.
Yeah.
What was the impetus for like, hey, I'm gonna go do an outdoor theater in Texas
In the summertime. In the summer.
in the
Love it.
summertime.
So y'all have known me for a long time, and you've known Kaylin and I since we have met each other,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Because we've known each other longer than Kaylin and I've known each other.
Mhm.
But you probably don't know this. Kaylin and I tried to start an outdoor theater company when we moved to Nashville for 2 years.
Oh, I didn't
So this has
Ah.
actually been something she and I have wanted to do for a very, very long
Wow.
time. And yes, of course, the inspiration was Zilker. We met there in Beauty and the Beast. I've performed out there 9 times. Like
Mhm.
it's a beautiful thing. And we wanted to do this in Nashville. And every time we'd go and talk to, the parks department and, different areas and sponsors and stuff, they're like, a free what? What do you mean free? What do you mean this thing is free? Like, how we don't understand this thing. And we never really got it past just like an idea phase. So when the opportunity came and the city of Bee Cave called me out of the blue one day and said, can you tell us of anyone you know that could bring this back? Because Zilker had to move back to Austin. That's
Yeah, that's
the tradition.
so,
That's where it
yeah.
belongs.
It's been the title.
But the city of Bee Caves really wanted it back, and they
Mhm.
wanted something like this for their community. I said, yeah, I know somebody. I know
This
I
guy.
know some people who would be interested in doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I did. The city
Yeah.
of Bee Cave is so supportive of this. The Hill Country Galleria is so
Mhm.
supportive of this. And last year we were able to secure 11 sponsors, business sponsors in the area. This year we have 16.
Oh my gosh.
And all of the 11 came back from last year.
Yeah.
And so there's massive support for this. When people ask like, oh, well, what about, does this compete with Zilker? And what about that? I said, absolutely. Like, who doesn't want to see 2 free shows in the summer? Who's
Yeah,
not going
right?
to take their family
yeah.
to see
There
2
are
shows?
so many things. That's like
They're
being
very
like
different.
They're very
like I feel like
different. Yeah.
experientially, like
Yeah.
both of those like companies are, they just feel different, even
Yeah.
though the
Yeah.
quality is great and the
Yeah.
performances are great. Just it is a different vibe.
Yeah.
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 But
but it's
also,
just more things to do
It's
in the
more
things
summer
to
that
do.
are like
And
that's
our
like saying
s-
swimming pools like conflict with no,
exactly.
you're
Yeah.
gonna go swimming. You
The
can go swimming in all the
the
pools.
city has grown exponentially in
Yeah.
65 years.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yes.
Mhm.
it's night and day difference. And what, in my opinion, being a part of the theater community, what has not grown is these types of opportunities for the
Mhm.
community.
Mhm.
And we proved it last year. I mean, we had 12,500 people come see Beauty and the Beast. Zilker broke records for their crowd sizes for Matilda.
Mhm.
And it was,
Yeah.
everyone is going to support.
Because I think that they're both getting audiences that maybe wouldn't normally
Correct,
go
yeah.
to,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
because it's expanded so much out that way.
Yeah.
I mean,
And there are other cities that want to do this. I mean,
Yeah.
Pflugerville wants to do this. Round Rock wants to do this. I think Buda and Bastrop already
Yeah, I
do
was gonna
this.
say.
yeah.
They have another option out
Yeah.
there, but
Isn't there Wimberley has one too or something?
Wimberley, I don't know if the Emily Ann still performs
I know that they
shows out there,
did.
but I don't
Yeah.
think they were free. I think they were
okay.
paid. Yeah, because I did Grease out there.
All right, look at
Uh-huh.
that.
Again, another thing y'all probably did not know. I played
Oh.
Teen
He played the
Angel.
Oh
Grease.
my
See,
God.
I
I
played
didn't know that.
every
actually.
Grease.
I was all the Grease.
I actually did know
title
that.
character.
I think I actually
do
did too,
remember
but I
that.
pushed it back.
Yeah.
I pushed it way back.
That's
Yeah.
so funny.
That's-
Well, so now, okay, so this is you're going into the second year. The show is Footloose.
Footloose.
What have been kind of the biggest learnings that you have had over the last year and a half with running this theater company?
Oh my gosh, there have been a lot, and it's I can see it in just the quality of work that's being put up this year versus last. Last year was amazing, and it was a dream come true.
Mm.
But this year has been more like efficient. Every single team that has been hired, because I don't know if you know this, we hired 120 people last year
Wow.
to work on Beauty and the Beast.
Wow.
This year we have right around 90, 95 people
Mhm.
that are paid to work on these productions, and every single team has like optimized to the max what they are bringing. So our timeline is really tight. From we're building a theater in a shopping center, so
Right.
nothing exists there until we come out. And so our fence goes in the morning last Monday. The
Mhm.
truss company comes out and builds the truss on Monday night. On Tuesday and Wednesday, our sound and lighting team have 2 days to use lifts to hang their lighting and sound plot on the truss before the stage comes in, because then they have to use ladders the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And last year was a learning experience for everyone. This year, I was out there and I watched our sound and lighting team roll out these cables that they had already pre-made, and literally the lighting team pulled the cable across the truss, and down fell the DMX and the power for every lighting position they needed.
Amazing.
And I was just like, this is amazing.
Thank you, everyone.
Like,
Yeah,
thank
yeah.
you for this just amazing work to put in before even coming out here.
Mm.
And it's all of the optimizations, it's all of the feedback that we took from the cast and production team last year, which is really important to do.
Mhm.
You have to, both from a personal side but also from a business side, look at it and say what makes sense to change or to not change, because a lot of times performers don't see the back end stuff of how the sausage is made, right?
Right.
And so there was a lot of great feedback that we implemented, one of which is we're running Wednesday through Saturday
Mhm.
for 5 weeks instead of Wednesday through Sunday for 4 weeks this year.
Mhm.
And it came from a lot of feedback from the cast just being like, we're exhausted.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, of
I
course,
mean,
you're
duh, it's
dancing in
100
100-degree
degrees.
weather.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're exhausted,
Yeah.
and it would be nice to have more time off. So we said, yeah, let's do it. Let's
That's
just
good.
adjust our run so they get Sunday nights off, Monday and
Mhm.
Tuesday off. And
Well, and that's good for, I mean, that's again good for like the Zilker / Magnolia crossover, because Zilker
sure.
runs Thursday through Sunday. So
correct.
each can
Yeah.
go see and
Yes,
support
right.
each
In the
other.
same week.
Typically, it's like if you're in shows, you can't. No
You
one
can't
can
see.
see
Can't
each
see
other's
anybody.
shows.
That's right.
So it's
Right,
like you have to
exactly.
miss everything.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So, okay. So then when you're thinking about continuing to run Magnolia, what's important to you from a leadership perspective?
Giving the team as much leeway in making decisions for their own department as possible. In hiring any team and in leading any type of team, I think one of the things you have to learn early on is you're hiring a team because you don't know everything and you can't do it all yourself, right? You can't grow that way. And so, it's a prime example of last year. I had my hand in it probably far too much as a leader, should, and taking a step back and just saying these teams have done it 1 year now and they know what they're doing, and just saying, let's, be here for them when they are when they need help or they need a hard decision made. Otherwise, just trust them, right? If I don't know if y'all have read the book The Speed of Trust, but that was one of the books that our CEO at Zoom, when I worked at Zoom, had the whole company read, and it's one of the greatest books to understand what it truly means to like trust a
Right.
team that you're hiring, because why hire them if you're not going to trust them to do their job, right? It's just about trusting that they know their work, they know what to do, and they will come to you with questions.
Yeah.
So.
How do you balance, the vision that
Mhm.
you have? And obviously this is like something that's really important to you, but like the vision that you have for Magnolia, and then getting the team, making sure that the team's aligned. So you give them, you like leverage them to go do the things that they do really well.
Mhm.
But how do you balance those two things?
This is something I will do probably for the first 5 years until we are really well established and understand, like people in the community understand what this is. And it's not, it's not too far off from Zilker's mission or any other free theater's mission. But I am involved with the hiring of everybody.
Wow.
And the very first thing I talk about when I am either on the phone, on Zoom, meeting them in person to hire them for their position is what our mission is and what our goal is. It's very important that you don't just say it to the director and the music director and the choreographer. Every single person that works on a show like this has to be behind the mission, right? And I have, I've worked with a lot of people over the years who you think understand the mission, and then in the way that they interact with the company and don't understand budgets and don't understand what it means when you go over budget. It's it's the money, it doesn't just appear, it comes out of somebody's pocket that don't quite understand it. And it's always good that every single person from the director to somebody who is hanging the lights on the lighting plot knows what this theater is about and who we're serving.
That's great.
So.
Yeah. We just talked about this. What's the role of a CEO?
Thank you so much for quizzing me. It's the vision. It's setting the vision. In case none of you knew, it's setting the vision.
Vision and people and budget,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's all of those
Yeah.
things that you just kind of mentioned, which is, it's like really, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a really important thing because again, you can leverage out everything else, but there has to be like that.
Working towards
Yeah.
A common goal.
Yeah.
And it's not just about preaching the vision. Sometimes it's about convincing people
Sure.
Yeah.
that it's the right vision for what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
We have been very fortunate in building Magnolia that there are a lot of people who want to do good work and want to bring that work to a lot of people and believe in accessibility of theater for all.
Yeah.
So we have actually been very lucky to work with. I would say there's probably not a single person that I worked with last year that I would not hire again this year.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great. So let's shift gears a little bit because we talked a little bit about your role with the title that had a lot of words.
A lot of
in it.
That's-
director
yes.
of
Yeah, that
Magnolia.
was
Yes.
that was only part of what he does, guys.
Yeah, that's right.
Like
That's
that
right. That's
sounded
right.
like a whole full-time
Yeah.
job, but wait, there's more.
Yeah, so you've kind of sat in a lot of leadership roles, and you talked a lot about technical cells being kind of at the core of it. But you're like leading teams as an executive in these companies on top of kind of running this theater. But like, what's important for you when you're sitting in these leadership positions and you're coming into a new company and working with new teams?
So this was actually the first experience I've had coming into a leadership role where I inherited a team that was there, some very legacy, some pretty new. Pretty much everywhere I've been kind of the first and then building a team on top of it. I don't necessarily approach it differently other than respecting the people who have been there and who have gotten the company to the stage that it is at. I think it's oftentimes I've had leaders come into companies that I've been with for a while who quite frankly don't care about the legacy of what has been built to get them to that point. And it's disastrous to a culture. It's something that will immediately kill team morale, kill the culture, and ultimately be somewhere you don't want to work. So number one is respecting that, understanding that, what got the company to a certain point, there are a lot of good things that will carry on to get it to the next point, but it is not necessarily all it's going to take to get it to the next level. And you've probably heard this, a lot. There's like the 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, 100 million. Yeah, it's like, every phase needs different things. But I will say what I bring to Magnolia is the same thing I bring to the table at any corporate job I'm at, which is trusting the people that you hire. And it's of course it's hard sometimes when there's something that is not going quite the way you want it to, but you have to say no. They need to be able to, of course, make decisions and fix a problem. Like you can't always be in there being the problem solver for the team. And yeah, just respecting the legacy that some folks have brought to the teams. And everybody offers something to the organization, to the team, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
What do you do when you have to you just talked about inheriting this team, having to come in and obviously respecting where it's gotten to, but obviously they hired you for a reason or for a purpose. How do you engage change?
How do I engage change? Empathetically. I have been a part of organizations where there has been lots of change that I did not necessarily agree with. And so understanding that side of it, but also in pitching the vision, right? Part of everyone's kind of their own little CEO of their,
world,
their world that they're trying to build. And just pitching the vision of why the team needs to move to, whether it's new tracking mechanisms or it's, how we engage with our customers and our sales teams and all of that, just why it's important that we move to this new model, and then getting feedback from the team as well. I will say, joining the new company I'm at, they actually already had a lot of these ideas in their heads, and just meeting with them and saying, here's what I would like to see the team move to as far as, how we engage with our customers. We're, so sales engineers or solutions architects are not supposed to be just one-off technical question answerers, right? We build technical relationships with our customers so that they trust us and we can help solve problems, right? Well, a lot of the team had already come up with a bunch of ideas that they just couldn't implement, right? And so they needed somebody to come in and say, this is a great idea. Let's go figure out how to implement this together. And then, giving them the project to do it. They had the idea. They just didn't necessarily have somebody advocating for it within the company.
It's, it's interesting. We've been talking a lot about the 5 dysfunctions of a team, and like there are so many things that you can.
Boy.
That strikes true, doesn't it? But just hearing you say, like, really being able to like establish trust and honoring what existed, and hearing people, regardless of if we go that direction, even the feedback that you talked about getting from actors, right? Like, I want you to have a voice, and being clear about what the direction is and where we're going and what we're intending on accomplishing. This is why we have to move this direction, but I appreciate your feedback. And, you have a voice and you're heard, even if it's not necessarily how we move forward. There are just some of these like things that you're doing both on the Magnolia side, but also in the business side, that are so critical to keeping teams together and to keep organizations moving in a viable direction.
Yeah. I also think in any organization, the 5 dysfunctions comes to mind all the time, right? There is in any world, business, in the theater world, which is still a business. I should stop not putting the two.
I mean, in the home, right? Like as a family, home. Right?
Yeah. But what I was going to say is that there are hard conversations that will have to be had at any level, at any organization. And one thing that I definitely feel is that one individual who is just toxic to an organization, to a show, like can really ruin a vision. And it can absolutely destroy a team. And so that has been something in the past, not in this new role that I have, that has been one of the hardest things to do as a leader. Is they may be great, they may be super talented, they may have a lot of knowledge, but if they are toxic to everyone around them,
Yeah.
you have to make some hard decisions.
How do you define toxic? Like, what are things that come up for you?
I would say, I always encourage any team to have uh, I think differences of opinion on any team are good. It's how you actually can move forward and you get good ideas but when it turns into a person who thinks that their ideas should alter the vision of either the company or the team, regardless of how it is impacting anybody, is some toxicity. Somebody who thinks they're above everybody else on the team. That is something that I don't like being led, or I would say managed, by somebody who constantly makes me aware that they are my superior. And I don't tolerate that from team members either. I always say our team when I'm speaking to them and when we're working on projects together.
Team.
It is called a team for a reason.
I don't know
Yes,
if you've heard
exactly.
this. There's no I in team.
I was so hoping. Except for those of us who can't spell.
You should trademark that.
Thank you.
Copyright.
I just thought of it right
that.
now.
I know.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
But there is
But
some tea in team.
Yeah, there's
No, I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
Oh
I
my
don't know what that
God.
means.
Whoa. I mean, tea is
Is there?
gossip.
Yeah.
But I mean, something that I always love to come back to is it's like we're all people.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
everyone's a human.
Trying to get stuff done.
Treat everybody like a human.
Yeah, totally. Okay, well, let's talk about fun stuff, aka your kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they're so cute.
I mean, it's
That's
just
good
like
for you to
really
say.
cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, I know
no, they're really cute.
ridiculous.
They're very, very cute. And so, okay, so Oliver is 5 and Natalie is
2.
2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so, and you're married.
Mhm.
And you have a wonderful woman. We love her dearly.
We
All of
do.
us love
All of
Natalie.
us love her.
Mhm.
Everybody.
And you have a very big family.
Yes.
How many brothers and sisters?
I am one of 9, and there
always
are
yeah.
now 16 grandchildren
my
in
God.
our
16
family.
Holy.
Yeah.
Cousins.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that's amazing. And so, we like to talk a lot here about just like managing.
Yeah.
What?
These 2 jobs that you're
You're like running a business. You're like running a massive business. And then you're leading a team in a very big organization. And then you have a family, a very big family that you care very deeply and I know is very central to you.
Yes.
So how do you do all of that?
Oh gosh.
Mhm.
Is it cliche of me to say I'm tired? Like
No,
all the
That's fine.
I
Yeah.
don't know that
We
people
do
say
talk
it's a-
about it.
yeah.
I mean, I'm
all-
pretty sure our last podcast, all we did was we're like, I'm so
I'm
tired.
I really
tired.
enjoyed listening to it though.
Yeah.
I was like, cool. I don't have
There's
kids.
never a moment where I'm not tired.
Yeah.
But all 3 of these areas are things that I truly love. I think when we met for lunch, there was one thing I said that struck you the most, and you're like, we have to talk about that on a podcast. And it's when I said, for Magnolia, it's a passion of just, Kaylin and I, we give our money to Magnolia. We don't make money from Magnolia. It truly is just something that we want to build for the community.
Mhm.
Also for our kids. Our kids love musical theater. They know every word to Footloose. They knew every word to Beauty and the
We
Beast
should have had
last
them on
year.
instead.
I'll give you the videos we recorded. You
Concert.
can put them in instead of this interview if you want.
Love
All right,
that.
thank you.
Um,
Record ATS. Don't worry about
And they
it.
love coming to every part of the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
They came to the read through, sing through. They came to the first rehearsal. Oliver helps me deliver props.
Oh
He
my
helps
God.
me. He might come help me paint some of the stage tonight. Like
It's like a
they
family
love it. It is a
affair.
family
Yeah.
affair for
Yeah.
sure.
So-
But one
Also
thing,
cool that you and Kaylin get to do this together
Yeah.
too, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And we work really well together. She's way better than me, y'all. So just know
We know.
that.
We know.
I know
Yeah,
you.
we're well aware.
I just want to get it on.
She's gonna love this episode. Yeah.
She's so organized, and her mind is
Right.
just it's built for the organization of something this large. So
Yeah.
yes, very lucky that we get to do this together. But to go back to like my job, one thing that I will not compromise on for any job going forward is my kids and my family.
Mhm.
I will not take jobs if it means like I have to travel more than I would say 20% of the time anymore, because I used to travel.
Yeah.
90% of my job was travel before I had kids, and I just won't do it
Mhm.
anymore. And it's always a hard thing to say and not do, but I have done it in the past already. I will leave a job that is creating anxiety for the family, right? Where I'm pulled away too much, and I don't have time to go to the things at, kids' school events are at 3 o'clock in
Yeah.
the afternoon,
They
guys.
sure are.
They don't care if you're a working parent.
No, they
So,
Sure don't.
I will absolutely prioritize them over my job
Yeah.
any day. And that was a hard thing to come to a realization of back when I was doing that 90% travel for one job, because I was so consumed by it.
Yeah.
But there are going to be plenty of jobs in your
Yeah.
life.
Oh, for sure.
And
That goes away, right?
yeah.
That's not.
Those
That
kids,
job's
that
not
is their
standing
life,
at your deathbed.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
correct.
I hope not, at least.
And that's
God.
such a hard, I mean, I know that, all of us have talked about that fear of, when you're kind of in the grind of like, oh God, if I'm not there, like it's going to look like I'm not working, or it's that, living in that just anxiety of having to be there, having to be on all the time. And then when you finally turn it off and you're like, no, I'm going to my kid's school so I can wear the weird turkey crown for Thanksgiving
Yeah.
and
4th of July.
and
Yeah.
and 4th of whatever.
Love the
crown.
turkey
Yeah.
crown for the 4th.
I
do.
I mean, it's not 4th of July without a turkey crown. And celebrate those things, and those are the things that they remember.
Yeah.
And that you were there for that. But that is a big. I know we've all taken like big transitions
Yeah.
to
to be with
get
family.
Well, something that you just said, Andrew, was like, I will not allow the anxiety to creep into the family. How do you know when that anxiety starts to creep into the family?
Lots of ways.
Like-
Kaylin.
You're like
Kaylin
Kaylin.
will
tell
tell
us.
you.
Kaylin,
Yeah, but
number
that's
one,
good.
Kaylin will,
I mean-
will
Good
tell
girl,
me straight
Kaylin.
up.
It is
And
sometimes you need a third party.
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
100%. And I listen to that too, because I know I can get blinded by, the tunnel vision
Yeah.
of working, or the stress of, and at the end of the day, like nothing is going to crumble in anything you're doing in the business world, in the theater. Nothing's going to crumble to take an hour of your time, like you just said,
Yeah.
to go to their school and look at their preschool graduation.
Yes.
Like
Totally.
watch their preschool.
Yeah.
Like nothing in business is going to crumble in an
No,
hour.
but you don't
or
show
a
up.
day or a week. Like
Yeah, but you don't show up to the kids'
They're gonna-
preschool graduation. That
That
could
is
crumble.
crumbling.
Yeah.
correct.
Or you
Yeah.
burn a
That's right.
quesadilla one time.
Make it
Yeah.
crumble.
They're gonna remind
Yeah.
you till the end of time that you don't know how to cook quesadillas.
Sounds like someone said that.
I don't know.
One of the things, I feel like there's like two responses and feelings. I mean, so many feelings, but like one of them is always modeling behavior, right? So how do you model this within your like business in quotes teams? And then also how do you model it within your family?
Yeah.
Right? That it's like your actions are showing someone how to behave.
Yes.
And so matching your values to your actions.
Mhm. Especially as a
Yes.
leader.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I don't think anybody does a perfect job at quote unquote balancing
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
things in their life. It's not a real thing.
No.
But you asked how I know. I mean, my kids will let me know too.
Yeah.
Mm.
All like the thing that hurts my heart the most is when Oliver's just like, Dad, I just haven't seen you in a long time.
Oh.
I'm like, that's not good.
That's important.
And
Cancel,
our kids,
cancel,
I mean,
cancel.
they will. Yeah.
Yeah,
They
it's,
will
it's
tell
the
me.
truth. It's really the truth.
Yeah.
And priority, like a big aha mind blow for me a couple years ago in my corporate job when it was like, come up with your top 10 priorities for this year. And I was working on it, and a coworker who I love and trust was like, do they not know the definition of a priority, which is supposed to be singular? Like, how do you come up with the top 10 singular
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
when it's
Yeah.
supposed to be singular? And so having that priority of your family can be like really clarifying, right? You get
Yes.
that feedback from your kid who's like, I miss you. Great. If you are my number one priority, how do I refocus?
Mhm. Yeah.
That's exactly
absolutely.
right.
Back.
Okay, so Beauty and the Beast was the first production.
Correct.
Footloose was the second production. I
Correct.
want to just point out that those are both shows that you and I have done together.
Oh, shoot.
Oh.
So I feel like there's a
Whoa.
theme here, Andrew.
Basically,
love
he's
Leslie.
following
And
your
yet,
career.
I've never seen
Yeah.
you at one of our auditions.
Oh.
Oh,
You do shows for old
man.
ladies.
I know.
please.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I was like, yeah, hold on. Call out on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Footloose? Excuse me, sir.
Old lady show.
Yeah,
But
traditionally.
or yeah, like youthful show.
But what I think is funny is you were cast as one of the old ladies in Footloose.
As a young lady.
yes,
We all
I know
were.
it's so
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
biggest
Rough
travesty. We will not name names, but we will find you.
Yeah.
Whoever cast us in those roles,
Yeah.
you know who you
Yeah,
We
are.
all know who you are.
But what's the future? What is the future for Magnolia? You said you're gonna like 5 years as you're visioning out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I have a vision for, legacy of the theater. I hope it lasts longer than 5 years, but there was talk early on about Magnolia with the city of Bee Cave that, like most cities, they have a master plan for the city, and one of that includes an amphitheater that would be
Incredible.
a dream that we could potentially do more programming in and actually be a resident theater of that amphitheater outdoors in their Central Park. So that's definitely on the dream bucket list. But for us, it is number one, it is getting everybody that works on the production to like a livable hourly wage right now. We're doing a really good job with the production team, all of like the carpenters and the costume teams and like everybody. We are pretty close to getting to about $15 an hour for the work that they do, but that needs to extend
Yep.
across the whole thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And when you're trying to employ 90 to 120 people, it's a lot of
It's
money.
Yeah.
expensive.
It's
Quick.
very expensive, very expensive. Then I would say is multiple productions. And they don't have to be full-blown musicals. So we're partnering with City of Bee Cave to put on a live concert. So with a small orchestra and choir to open up their skating rink. So they do the skating rink every year.
Oh, yeah.
And they're going to have professional skaters dance to a choir and orchestra, right?
Are you gonna
Um,
skate?
Yeah.
Maybe?
You
I
know.
don't know why I got. Yes.
Like, you mean
Excited.
me?
She got so excited.
This
She'll
is
be
the
like, I'll be
ask right
training
now.
for the next
will.
leg.
Good. We now do the haunted trail for the City of
Yeah.
Bee Cave as well, which got canceled last year because of rain, but we'll continue doing that. And so it's just about finding other things that are, that we can bring talent out to do, but also provide for free to the community.
I was gonna say we always talk about a gap, right? Where
Yeah.
it's like, what do you want? What do you need? What is missing? And then how to fill that gap.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, love that. Okay, good. Well, so how do people donate? Because obviously you need more money,
Yeah.
right? Oh, I mean,
Of
nonprofits
course.
always
Yeah,
need more
of
money,
course,
right?
of
So
course.
how do people donate?
We have a lot of ways. And in fact, we're updating our website, which is, can I say it?
Yeah.
Magnolia MT for musicaltheater.org.
MagnoliaMT.org.
Correct. You can go on there right now. We have a few ways that you can give just individually, but we also realize
Sheila.
that, yes,
Yeah.
I'm getting there. I promise.
Spoilers.
No, it's amazing. I love that there's a shout out for that. But, we're adding to our page. We always need, if we're bringing in somebody from out of town, whether it's a designer or a performer, we need air miles. We need hotel stays. We need somebody to offer a room for them. We need Home Depot gift cards, Amazon gift
Yeah.
cards. Like,
Yeah.
we realize we have to purchase a lot of different things. It doesn't always just have to be cash. It could be, if you got a gift card for Christmas that it's been sitting in your drawer for 4 months and you're like, I could give this to Magnolia. We give you a way to ship that to us, or right. The other is a gala. So we always have an opening weekend gala. This year it's an 80s mall theme.
Fun.
So and we have a lot of great stuff. Like Amy's Ice Cream is sponsoring our desserts. County Line is sponsoring our
Yes.
food. So really good barbecue. We're gonna have arcade games. We're gonna have glamour shots. We're gonna have
So
What?
fun.
yeah.
Oh my God.
We have some pretty
Let's go.
And so glamour
amazing-
shot.
Yes. And so glamorous.
We have some pretty amazing raffle and live auction items. So many trips this year that were donated. And then, I mean, sponsors. If you're a business that really likes the vision of bringing this to the community, we're always looking for more sponsors, and we have very generous,
Yeah.
things that we do for our sponsors.
Are you asking us to sponsor right now?
I know.
If you would like to, I can talk to you about all of our sponsor benefits
Yes.
after this. Talk to
Yeah.
you about all of the advertising opportunities you would have with
Perfect.
Magnolia Musical Theater. But then just come see the show and
Yeah.
tell people to come
gonna
see
say.
Yeah.
the show.
Yeah.
It's
Right?
so fun. It's
It really
such a
is.
like
There-
it's great.
There would be nothing worse than to put on a free production and have
And no
nobody
one-
in the audience. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't give back, that's the whole point of this, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For people who can,
Yeah.
Like-
you would not believe
Like a
the amount of
tumbleweed.
anxiety that I had. And
No one.
and Kaylin and Rick, our director, kept saying last week, people are gonna come.
Yeah.
I'm like, but they might not.
And they definitely did.
And they did.
They
They showed,
came.
they
They
were
did.
And
there.
it's so fun.
It's
and I
really
think,
fun.
Like,
It's AstroTurf too, which is
it
kind of
is.
nice.
Uh-huh.
It's
Yeah.
nice. It's
and
like
there's always a breeze out at the gallery.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's kind of
there's always
shaded
a
in the
breeze.
like way that
Yeah.
there's like
The buildings, the
Buildings
sun goes
around.
beyond the buildings about 7:35 exactly.
Yeah. that sounds
there's
like a
bathrooms.
There's
like,
actual air conditioned bathrooms. There's
Yeah.
places you can get drinks, adult beverages,
Yeah.
kid beverages,
Yeah.
Amy's Ice Cream, Yogurt Planet, food
all the
galore.
things.
Like,
It's so nice.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
It really is.
Awesome.
Good.
but thank you for that little
Of course.
opportunity
Heck
for shout out.
yeah.
Because you're right. I
Absolutely.
mean, we talked about it at the very beginning. We
Mhm.
can't do this without the money,
Right. Yeah,
unfortunately.
totally.
If everything was free, we could. But
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited. I mean, obviously, we're avid supporters, but we're excited about where you're taking this and happy that you guys are doing this. It's really cool.
and maybe we'll see y'all in a show.
I would love it.
Someday.
Just
Yeah.
not Footloose because I'm too old.
Yeah.
We all say that. What you know what? Me too, but we could do a senior production.
Geriatric.
Geriatric version of
Footloose.
Footloose.
Down, you know.
Oh my
Put my red
gosh.
boots on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having
Adore you.
Yes.
Just
the
lots.
best.
I mean, like decades of friendship. Right?
So much here.
You know?
There is.
Yeah.
There are
I
so many
know.
stories that could have been told.
Oh yeah.
They should be.
For
Oh,
sure.
wow.
We're gonna
Yeah,
continue.
I
this.
know.
That's on
Yes,
that
DM us if you want to
More
know how
stories, yeah.
Andrew and I actually officially met.
Oh,
in the middle
shoot.
of-
Oh no.
All right. Per usual, please follow us on all platforms and tell your friends and support Magnolia Theater Company. And we will see you soon.
Soon. Yeah.
Bye.